So, hello everybody and welcome back to our session. Today is going to be our last training session. Today we are going to explain actually 5 tools: drawing creator, drawing tools, connection attribute, and moment connection plugin and ZSBOM application. So before we start, as usual, does anyone have any question for all the previous applications that we have provided? Okay, so let's start with today first application, which is a drawing creator. So I'm going to share the screen now. Okay, back to this model again. Before we start to explain the drawing creator, I think it is better that you see in the old ways how you can create the drawing for example, for any BEB structure like rafter or columns, and what is the output that used to be taken from Tekla. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to open the drawing list and I'm going to delete all the assembly drawings that has been created, and let's start, for example, for a rafter like this. Let's start to create the assembly drawing using our own attributes for assembly. So first of all, I'm going to select object in component. I'm going to go for the drawing and report, going for the drawing properties, assembly, and I'm going to load the attribute, our attribute for A3. Apply OK, and let's try to create the drawing as per the attribute. So the drawing is being created now. If we open the drawing and see the output, if you can see now, the output is not matching with our standard at all. So first of all, I think you will need to delete the maybe the top view, and you are going to delete all the sections, okay, and go for the front view. You need to make scaling, and also I think most of the dimensions is created in a random way, so it will not you will not be able to modify it itself. You can see that the BLO dimensions is not correct and is not matching with the correct BLO location. And you will have after that you are going to delete all the views, maybe keep the front view also, and delete the dimensions of the front view and the part mark, and try to put the dimension manually for each sketch. And after that, I think you have to provide detail for the webs, cutting diagram for the web itself. So from my point of view, you are starting towards the drawing from scratch. For a simple rafter like this, I think it will take you not less than from 15 to 30 minutes to finalize the drawing as per our XAML standard. And also you will still have the ability to have an error, okay, that you picked a wrong location while picking, or you already missed to fix any plates, or missed any port marks. So let's try to see our attribute, our drawing, which is created by the drawing creator. So let's start. First of all, I'm going to start with a simple drawings, and then we are going to go more further. So first of all, let's try a simple BEB column. It's very simple, okay? So go for the XAML Tekla support, open the drawing creator. The interface is very simple. It has only one option to create the size of the drawing from A3 to A1. By default, it's at A3. So select the member and be sure to select it as an object in component and not component, and press create. What the application is going to do is going to check first of all if you have a drawing for this item or not. So if you have a drawing, the application will stop working. It's not going to to create any drawings, and it's not going to modify any drawings. Right now the application has finished. Anyway, let's continue. If this part doesn't have a drawing inside your drawing list, then the application will start to create the drawings. He start to create the drawing with our own attribute, and then after that the application start to check the member. If the member is a BEP member containing F1 part positions like F1 hashtag and W1 hashtag and F2 hashtag, in this case he's going to open the drawing and he's going to modify this drawing. Otherwise, he will keep it the same as it was with our attribute XAML assembly attribute. So now the drawing, the application has created the drawings, and since it has a prefix of F1 hashtag and F2 hashtag and W1 hashtag, so the application start to modify the drawing which has been created. So let's open the drawing and see the output. So now if you can see, this is the output of the drawings. It deleted all the views and kept only the front view. You will have here also, we have here only one web. So this web is W1 hashtag 1. So it created the detail of the cutting diagram for this web with all the required dimensions. If you can see here, all the dimensions are created related to XAML standard with the correct BLO dimension. Okay, even if you have a 3 millimeters for the gap between the flange and the column, you have a dimension created for this flange. All the part marks has been created with a correct description. For example, if this plate, this is an end plate and is centered in the other direction, so it is the part mark is created with flagging as centered or commented as centered. You have here the plate for the flange brace. Okay, you will find it that it is fixed correctly with our system as 25 from the cold formed hole. It also has another fixation for the bolt location from the top of the web, and this is according to our XAML standard. All the flanges or the holes in the flange are having a BLO dimensions from the correct location of BLO. And I think the drawing is very clear and doesn't need any modification. Okay, so this is for the first type of structure as a column. So let's go for some other complicated types and let's see the output of the application. So for example, let's start with this rafter. Okay, this is not containing any tapering. Let's start to see how the application is going to deal with it. First of all, you need to check that if you have created drawings for this rafter or not, and then you start to press create. Again, the application is checking on the drawings if it has a drawing or not. Now it doesn't have, so he created the assembly drawings, and now he is modifying the drawing object. You can see this in the status bar here in the application. Now the application has finished. Let's open this drawing again and see. Okay. Now we have also a web cutting diagram here created, but this web is containing some holes. So we'll find that in the cutting diagram, all the holes for the web has been fixed correctly. You have here only one dimension for the in the vertical dimension for all the hole, but you can check that they are all at the same location. This is why the application created only one dimension. Let's go back for the main view itself. So this is the main view itself. So I think everything is clear. Okay, maybe in some cases you will need to move some objects to avoid some clashing. Okay, but actually all the required dimension you will find it appearing. Okay, with all the part marked. I repeat, you may have to modify the location of some dimensions or some parts to avoid clashing. Just only a few modifications that will not take you 10 to 15 seconds. So this is for this type of structure. Let's see another more complicated rafters. Let's, for example, open this rafter, press create. If you can see, the more complicated rafter, the more time is going to be taken by the application. But for sure, for the most complicated assemblies, the time took by the application will not exceed 30 seconds. Okay, let's see the drawing. Okay, now we have multiple webs. We have actually 3 web diagrams. So we can see here that we have 3 web diagrams. Also, in case of tapering, that you can find that the web diagram is always created at the correct location, as same as the front view. So if the tapering is from this side, then the web is going to be created for this side. If the tapering is the other side, you will find the web is reversed in the detail. Even if you have tapering, two opposite tapering inside one assembly, you will find that the detail created for each part is respecting the part orientation in the front view. Okay, so this is the web detail that has been created. Let's start to check the view itself, the main view. So if you can see from the beginning, you may find that the drawing is not created very good. No, it needs some just minimum modifications so as to get the maximum output. Just I'm not adding any dimensions. I'm just clarifying the items location. So if you just move this away and move this away, just removing the clashes, you will find that the drawing is very clear. In only you just need to do some modifying some locations of dimensions and part marks so as not to be clashing with each other. Let's have a look at this end. So if you can see at this end, you may find some dimensions. You may see it is an extra dimension. So this dimension, for example, is fixing the end plate with the starting of the stiffener. But actually, we have another dimension for the stiffener, which is 150 and 150. And I think this is enough. So this is can be considered as an extra dimension. If you need to delete it to just clarify more the drawings, feel free to delete it if you check it that it is an extra dimension. So what I'm going to do is just clarifying the locations. And if you can see here, this is the 25 and it is taken only one time in the drawings. So you will find it here for typical, okay, to inform the shop that all others location from the whole is 25 typical, and each other flange brace plates have his own vertical dimension to fix the hole. So I think the drawing is very clear. No more other modification can be done. It can be released as it is. So let's try another more complicated rafters. For example, this rafter. Let's try to create. He's modifying the application, is modifying the drawing right now. As I told you, the more complicated rafter, the more time is going to be taken by the application, but also it will not exceed 30 minutes, 30 seconds. Sorry. Now the application has finished. Let's see the output of the drawings. Okay. So this is the rafter, okay, and this is also the web details. The web cutting diagram is created. Maybe in some conditions, if you have a lot of dimensions and a lot of members to be fixed, you will feel that it's better for you that you increase the scale. Maybe you can, for example, you can just go for the view properties, and maybe adjust the cutting, the minimum cutting, okay, and adjust the scale, and you will find the drawing is created more efficiently. Okay, but even if we leave this drawing as it is, you can also even if from the first look you feel that it is all clashing with each other, but don't worry, in less than 1 minute you can finalize this drawing. Let's try together. So I'm going to move these dimensions up. This is a 25 for the knee stiffener, okay, and this dimension is for the holes here. So I'm going to modify the location and modify the location here, and this is the holes. So if you can see, with a small modification, the drawing is becoming more clear, like this. I will move this here, and if you can see, this area, it took me only 10 seconds just to clarify the data to be clear for the shop. Also, if you have a plate here, this is an inclined plate. So any inclined plate, you will find it fixed by 2 points, okay, in both X and Y direction. And also you will have an angle created for this incline for the shop to check. Also, this part contains holes, so it needs a section. So an automatic section has been taken here, and it has the required dimension to fix the holes to the web, so as the shop can create it correctly. For other maybe required dimensions for this gusset, it will be shown clearly in the single part drawings as we discussed in the first session. Okay, let's continue. Here you can find some clashes. Simply you can move it like this. And the same also here. You can just delete this, delete this. If you can see, in a little time, you can clarify all the items, and I think it's clear enough. And I think also, feel free if you want to, as I told you before, if you want to increase the scale, it will be more clear than this situation also. But I think even in this situation, it's clear enough for the shop to start fabrication. So from my point of view, this application saves a lot of your time. First of all, it creates all the necessary dimensions, and it created in a good way. You may need, as I told you, to just clarify the location of some dimensions and part more to avoid clashing with each other, so as the data could be clear. So from my point of view, if I were in the engineering, I will ask the detailers to create it by the drone creator, remove the clashes and clarify the data, and then it can be printed directly to the checkers, so as they can check if all the items are fixed or another extra dimension could be needed. Okay, this is for this type of rafters. Also, the application can work on multiple selection. So as I told you, we have been only selecting one item at each time, but actually the application is designed to perform this process on multiple selection. So for example, if you have already some data that you want to create the fabrication drawing for, just select all the data you want and press create. If the application found that the selected data require a sketch, but in the same time it is not a BEP structure, don't worry, he is going to create the assembly drawing for this member using our general attribute, and it's not going to modify it, and then he's going to search for the BEP items and he's going to perform the modification if needed. So does anyone have any question till now? So everything is clear till now? Okay. Let's try also the assembly drawing creator, but in another model and another shape of a BEP structure. So I'm going to open another model. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, let's continue. So I'm just opening the model. Sorry for this time, maybe I will need to upgrade my laptop. So it's taking too much time. Okay, finally the model is opened. Okay. Or this is another type of structure. It's mainly a steel structure, generally as a steel structure. Okay. When we create the assembly drawings for any type of these steel structures, so we created using our attribute, which is XAML assembly attribute. Okay, so let's try. So usually, for example, if we check a drawing like this, we need to delete the drawing first. So, and let's create the assembly drawing. So this is the drawing that has been created by the attribute. If you can see, it is not very bad like the same we faced while we created a tapering BEP structure. So the drawing is in a good way. You can continue working on this drawing and you don't need to delete all the dimension and start from scratch. So this is editable and can be checked by the user, and maybe adding some other dimensions that may be required. So we don't have any problem in this type of structure, but the only problem that we have is that if this type of structure is created as an BU, as an HI profile, as you know, in our XAML standard, all the top dimensions should be fixed to the top of web and not top of beam. And also for the center dimensions, it should be taken from the web, from the edge of the web and not from the center of the beam. So the problem is that Tekla, when it interact with the profile as an HI, it doesn't differentiate between this HI and any other hot roll profile. So in hot roll profile, yes, we fix to the top of the beam and fix to the center of the beam because this is a hot roll profile. But in case of built-up section, no, we fix in the related to the top of web and not top of beam, and to the edge of the web and not at the center of the web. Okay, so this is why, for example, if we created the same drawings but using our drawing creator, let's see the output. I think I was selecting this drone. Okay, so let's do start the drone creator and make create. Actually, the drone creator also check after creating the drawing. If the drawing is created, the main part as an HI profile, then it is going to perform extra modification on this drawing. So you can see here the application already modified the drawing, but the modification is only just to, it's keeping everything as it is, but just modifying the dimension to be at the top of the web instead of top of the beam, and at the edge of the web instead of center of the beam. But it's keeping the same dimensions that was created before in the by the attribute. For example, this dimension was fixed to the top of the beam. Now you will find it fixed to the top of the web. So that is all for the drawing creator currently. So do you have any questions after we finalized explaining drawing creator before we go to the drawing tools? Okay, let's continue with the drawing tools. Actually, if you can check our applications here in the XAML Tekla support, you will not find the drawing tools here. This is because the drawing tool is we will find it inside the drawing interface. So, for example, if I opened the previous sketch, okay, and you go for XAML Tekla support, now you will find the XAML drawing tool appears here. So let's open the application, because it works only inside the drawing itself. So why would we design this drawing tool? Okay, actually, maybe in this this is not the case, but in case of some heavy structures, and in case of especially columns, for example, so the attribute will not work correctly, and maybe you will have a lot of dimensions, and the in some cases the detailer feels that starting the drawing from scratch would be better than modifying the drawing itself. So in this case, most of the user will have to delete all the dimensions and all the part marks and start to add their own dimension and own part mark from scratch. So for example, if this is the case, so I think the user will need to select this view, for example, and they want to keep the sections not selected. And deselect the view itself, and then press delete. So to delete the whole the dimension and the part mark, and start to fix the items manually. So let's start to do this. So the user will go for the dimensions, for example, and start to put a horizontal dimension. So he start to get the BLO item and start to fix the item together. In this case, you will need to fix the bolt and the edge of the plate, so as not the bolt is fixed correctly. So as you can see, if I want to select the bolt, I have multiple selections, so this may cause an error, and so I have to zoom in so to select the current location, and then go ahead. You need to fix this item also, and you need to fix these edges, for example. So I'm going to stop right here. So this is costing time. First of all, this is costing time. Second, you need to adjust the, if you need to make this as a BLO, you have to go to the modification, to the properties of the dimensions, maybe get this as BLO, and also you will need to decrease the scale of the text height for the dimension, maybe as 1.5. And still go ahead. So first of all, it's taking time. Second, you can only fix one dimension. For example, if you want to fix this plate, you will have to create a vertical dimension here, starting from the BLO, fixing the bolts, and fixing the edge of the angle. You have to do this dimension on each of the following items, and also you have to fix the dimension at the vertical. So this is taking too much time. This is the first problem. And the second, that maybe the user have multiple selection, and he may have an error in his picking. So this is why we thought that we can create another tool that is going to help the user while creating dimensions and creating part marks and so on. So let's check the drawing tool. First option we have here, we have a clear view. So a clear view, it's you have an option to clear the dimension in a required view, or part marks, or clear both. So if you remember, when we start to clear the dimensions of this view, the selection we have made, and we deselected all the other items. So it's so simple here now. If you, for example, want to clear all the dimension and part mark together, just checkbox on the all, press clear, and pick a point inside the view you want to clear it, like this, and the dimensions has been cleared, and if there were a part mark, it will be cleared also. So this is very simple. You can do it very simple. For example, I want to clear this part mark and dimensions also from section. Here we go. It's very easy and very simple. You don't have to select and deselect again. So this is the first option. Second option, you have the option to create a part mark. As a selected view, you can create the whole part mark for the selected view itself, or for selected members. So first of all, let's, for example, let's try the selected member. If I just select some members like this, okay, for example, like this also, and you want to create a part mark, create part mark, you will find the part mark already created, and also the part mark will be created with the correct description. So this stiffener is at the far side, so it's created as far side. Also the end plate is at the far side, this is at the near side. This plate is centered, this bracing is centered in the other view, so it is created with a flag as a centered. So this is easy to create all the part mark with the correct comments for the far side and near side. Even if you have a member that is created as a both sides, it will be commented with both sides, or near side and far side. Okay, so let's try another option. Now for the option of adding the dimensions. First of all, the application is going to ask you if you want to add your dimension as a linear or BLO. So for example, if I want to add the dimension as a linear, so I'm going to select linear. You want to add a horizontal dimension or vertical dimension or both. Yes, it can create both the dimensions at the same time. So let's, for start, try the horizontal dimension only. Okay, then if you are working on a certain view, you have to define the BLO first. So I'm going to press the button for define BLO. So he's asking, the application is asking to pick the BLO point. I'm going to pick my BLO point. Now, if I'm working for all the dimensions, I'm going to provide at this view, this BLO, this will be the correct BLO. I don't need to define it again. So let's start, for example, to select some members and add some horizontal dimensions. So I'm going to select these parts, for example. Okay, if you are happy with your selection, press add dimension, and the dimension is created. So it's very simple and it's very easy. Okay, let's for example want to create a vertical dimension and horizontal dimension at the same time. So I'm going to select both, and I'm going to select the plates, for example. Let's select these plates only, and also let's select this place, for example. So let's make add dimension, and you will find here all the dimension has been created, and the vertical dimension also has been created for all the item, and it is created correctly, and it is fixing also an edge of the plate, so as the plate if the edges are not equal, so to provide the correct orientation for the shop, and it's fixing the bolt correctly. We have also another option. For example, if you want to add, if you created your dimension and you missed to add a member, a certain member, for example, this member, okay, I missed to add this member to this dimension. So it's very easy to select the member, select the dimension line, and press to add to dimension. You will find your dimension is updated with the correct points. You don't need to zoom in and select all these bolts. It will be selected automatically and correctly. Okay, and also for section, it's very useful. For example, if I want to clear this view, okay, and I want to add the dimension for this angle, for example, in the section. So what I'm going to do is I'm working in another view, so I'm going to define a new BLO, which is this point, and then I'm going to select this item, and I'm going to add both dimensions, so I'm going to press add dimensions. So now if you can see, the dimensions has been created correctly. So also we have another option to add a total dimension. For example, if you want to add a total dimension for the plan view, for example, so it's just simple, press on the add total, pick up any point inside the view you want to add the total dimension, and you will find the total dimension has been created correctly. So this will be all for the drawing tool. It's just it's not smart, but it just helps the user to minimize his dummy work while working inside the drawings. So he need only to select some items he need to add to dimension, or he need to fix in both horizontal or vertical dimensions, and the application saves the time more than working on the current Tekla command. So does anyone have any questions till now? Okay. So now we are going to explain another tool which is connection attribute, but we need a BEP structure. So I'm going back to the first model that I have been opening. So a general BEP structure. As I already understand from you that you started to work with Tekla BEP tools, framing tools. This is the current situation. I think you will need to stop working with this tool and maybe start working with the new tool that will be provided from ESD department for the framing itself. So, but currently, till now, we are working with a BEB tool. So we have created some tools that is going to help you while creating the connections. So let's, for example, as you already know, inside the BEB tool, you have certain connections for the BEB connections for the, for example, for the post and beam, for the end plate or the base plate, for the splice, for the rafter, and so on. So I believe that you already have worked with these connections, and you know it's not very easy. From my experience myself, as I tried to work on this plugins more than one time, it is not very easy. You have a lot of dimensions and a lot of shapes and parts and data that you should add so as you can get the correct data you need and the correct shape of the connections. So from my point of view, if I am going to try this, for example, this knee connection from scratch, it's not going to take less than 10 minutes from me. This is for me at least. So it's not easy to work with this type of plugins. And as you already know that according to our standard, we have a certain code for each type of connection for the BEB. So let's open, for example, the eDocs, our manual. Maybe the eDocs is needing some updates. Anyway, you already know the eDocs and you already know that we have type of design comments that, for example, for this connections is the type is K, and the code for this connection, for example, is K, and then the knee thickness, okay, and after that you have the number of the bolts at the outer bolt, which is 4, and the number of the bolt at the inner, which is 4, and also if you had a stiffeners here for A and B, so you can choose your type of stiffener. So in case that you already know the design code, so we thought that we can create an application that's going to save your time. So let's first of all delete this connection. And we are going to update the BEB member itself. Sorry, but I think I'm facing a problem in connecting to the server. It's going to take a small time. So till I am connected to the server, we can use this time if anyone have any question. Does anyone have any thing to discuss even in general?
Mr. Shadi, could I
Yes.
present a moment connection until
Yeah,
you fix
yeah, yeah. Maybe this is going to be a good idea. Yes, until I am connected to server again. So now Mr. Ahmed is going to present you the connection, the moment connection till I am connected to the server again. So please, Mr. Ahmed, please start to present.
Hello, everybody. I'm going to introduce you to Moment Connection plugin. You can find the Moment Connection plugin in the application and the components category under the name of moment_connection. You can also find it in our repo. In this button, you will find moment connection. You can insert the connection by clicking this button. It will give you this comment. It is telling you to pick the column. If you pick the column, it will give you the message to pick the beam. Now the connection have been.
Mr. Ahmed, can you please first of all explain to the users why we already create this type of connection? Because we have already an end plate moment connection as the macro 40, for example.
Okay, macro 40 is lacking some options. The main option that is lagged in connection 40 is to insert an insertion blade for the flange and insertion blade for the web. This option is basically used in PEP structure as we deal with the HI profile as a replacement for the blades. So this option isn't provided in most of the Tekla macros. So we thought that we can provide you this option of insertion blades in the flange and insertion blades in the web to provide you this option to deal with XAML standard. Let's start to see the plugin. If you double click this plugin, you will find the following form. You will find the picture tab, parameters tab, and bolts tab, and welds tab. For example, you can find the following options here for all the parts that can be inserted from the plugin. You can find the stiffeners in front of the top flange and the bottom flange, S1 and S2. You can also insert S3 and S4. Let's try to insert S1 stiffeners. For example, if I inserted the stiffener here to be 12, you will find that the stiffeners have been inserted in both sides. You can modify the location of the stiffeners to be near side or far side or both sides. Also, for the parts here, you can manage to modify the prefix or the start number or the name of the part. Also, you can modify the material. If you clicked on this button, you will find the material catalog appears here. Also, you can change any material you need. Also, you'll find the class for each part. For the end plate here, you can modify the thickness of the end plate. Let's set it to 15, for example, and its width can be 300, for example. Also, you can add a top hunch. You can set the top hunch value to be 10, for example. You will find this top hunch here have been inserted in the model. This hunch is binded to the top of the end plate. here. If you modified the end plate height, you can modify the end plate height from these parameters here. You can modify the height from the top. If you modify the height of the top, the stiffener will be extended also. Also, you can modify the bottom extension of the end plate by adding this parameter. Also, you can insert a bottom haunch by adding the thickness of the web of the haunch and the thickness of the haunch flange. For example, sorry, let's for example be 15, and the thickness to be 200. The width it is the width of the haunch. Also, you can insert the height of the haunch here from this value. Let's set it to 300, for example, and the length of the haunch to be 500, and insert. You will find the haunch have been inserted in the model. So I'm going to decrease the extension of the end plate to be some kind of applicable. Also, you can provide the stiffener S3 and S4 here from these values. Now we will find the stiffeners have been inserted in both sides. You can also manage them to be near side or far side. Okay. Also, you can shift all these stiffeners. You can modify their position by modifying this value. If I inserted a shifting here 15 and a shifting here, for example, 25, and a shifting for S1, for example, to be 50. And a shifting for S4, for example, I'm going to shift it 50 also. You can shift this value whether with positive value or negative value. You can modify the position of these stiffeners. Also for our main options that we are providing in this option, we can insert the web insertion web and the insertion in the flange. Let's set its value here in the web to be 5 and the insertion plate for flange to be 15. And if we modify this option, you will find that this thickness is, if we selected the column here, you will find that its thickness is in the web is 15 and its thickness in the flange is 20. So these parameters or these thicknesses for web and flange are below the thickness of the existing value of web and flange thicknesses. So the plugin doesn't insert these values here. So if I modify the thickness to be 15 and this to be 20, it's 20 and it will be 25. You will find the application have inserted the insertion plate for both flange and web have been inserted here. If you have an attribute, you can and you can set the insertion web value and you can apply it in the model in all the positions, and it will determine whether this column needs the insertion plate or not. So you can apply your attribute in all the positions, and it will determine smartly if this position needs insertion plate or not in the model. Also, you can modify the height of the insertion plate. You can add a value here in the insertion plate. this dimension is measured from the bottom of insertion blade to the bottom of the web. Also for the flange insertion plate, you can modify its height from here, and also from the top you can modify this value for the flange insertion plate, and also for the web insertion plate you can modify this value. Okay. Also, you have here an option to add a chamfer. If you want to add, for example, a straight chamfer type of size 20, for example, and modify this, you will find that in all chamfer points, the chamfer have been added to be 20 in all chamfer points, and in stiffeners too. And in all the stiffeners too. And in the column stiffeners, you will find also the chamfer of 20. Also, you have the option if you have a seal weld, if you need to set a seal weld, so you can set a recess value of 6 millimeters, for example. Then in all the stiffeners will have a recess of 6 millimeters. Okay. Also, you can add an end blade gap distance here. If you add an end blade gap distance, you will find that the application, that the plugin have set a gap of 5 millimeters. Okay. Also, in the bolt stab, you can find there is 2 sets of bolts here. You can set the number of bolts here to be, for example, 2, and with a pitch of 100, and an end blade distance of 50, for example. You can add the bottom bolts, and you can change the size of the bolts and the bolt standard from all the bolt standards here. And you can also change the tolerance and the bolt gauge distance for this connection in all these values. You can change this bolt location, for example, to avoid the clash. Here you can add these values. Also, you can find the weld stab page here. It is controlling all the welds, and all the welds have in this picture. You can find all the bolts. The bolts values are marked here. So for weld, for example, if I want to increase the weld one here, I'm going to set X size to be 10, for example, and you can change the type of the above weld and the finish. So you will find that you can change the the above size and the below size for each weld, as below as you can change in both directions. So I now have finished. So any questions about this plugin? Okay, Mr. Shadi, you have the option to get back to the connection.
Thank you, Mr. Ahmed. Actually, I'm still facing the same problem for connecting to the server, but I'm going to continue explaining. But I will not be able to use the application itself because I have a problem in connection with the server. So please accept my apology for the problem we faced today. It is just a temporary problem. So I'm going to share my screen again. So back to the model. As I was explaining before that working with the BEB component itself, especially for the connections, is very hard and is taking a lot of time. So what we have provided here now, we have provided an application which is called connection attribute. If you click on it, it's going to open the window for the application, and now you will have to choose all the types of the standard connections in XAML. So this is the abbreviation for all the types of the standard connections regarding the BEB structure inside XAML. For example, for this connection, I would choose K type. So this is a K type connections. Now we have the option to add the web thickness for the knee. This is for the outer diameter and the inner diameter. So in this case, it's 4 and 4. This is the diameter of the bolt itself. And this is the stiffener type if you want stiffener A, B, A and B, W and WS for all types of connections. And now we have the option to add the end plate thickness and the end plate width. So this is actually the type of the design connections that you should receive from your design department. But even if you didn't receive the connections in the form of this code, of the design code, it will also be a good start for you if you already know how to write the code for yourself. So for example, if I have a connection like this and I know this is a K type, so I'm going to choose a K, and this is I have thickness of the knee, I'm going to add it from the sketch, and I know the number of outer bolts and inner bolts, I'm going to add them. I'm going to add the bolt diameter from the sketch, and I'm going to know if it needs a stiffener or not, and put the thickness and start to select. In this case, you are going to select in component. Okay, select a component, select the column and select the rafter, and you will find the connections is created correctly. So it will not take 10 seconds and you will find the connection is created inside the model. Also, the connection is going to be after the creation. If you open the macro itself, you will find the code will be saved as an attribute. You can, if you have this connection replicated in many other times, you can just load the attribute and you can insert it at any other location. Okay, so yeah, I was hoping to apply the connection to you today, but due to the problem of the server, I cannot access the BEB connections. So this is why we are facing this problem. But if you have, as I said, if you have the design code already created from your design department, you can create the connection and it will follow all the standard dimension of XAML for the pitch and for the spaces, for the stiffener and for the shape and the geometry of the stiffener. It will be created correctly and automatically. Second, if you don't have this code, you can just from the sketch, you can start to write your own code and apply the connection. If the designer was not following the standard of the XAML for the pitch and so on, you can just simply have the shape of the connection created with 80% correct, and then you can go and modify the pitch from the connection directly without any problem. So either way, it's going to save your time. I apologize again for not having the ability to create this connection to you, to create the application to you, but I hope that my explanation will be enough and clear for you. Maybe in other time when I solve this problem, I can make an individual small session or maybe record a video and I'm going to send it to you. So this is for the connection attribute. Our final application for today is the ZSBOM tab. As we already explained before that we have in our system in the more or the user-defined Windows, we have here a tab for ZSBOM tab. So in most of time, we told you that you will not find it appearing in your in your user-defined attributes. So, and you have to follow some procedure, which is go to the file, go for diagnose and repair, and under utility go for diagnose and change attribute definition, and start selecting. And you know all the steps that I already explained in the first session. So these steps takes a lot of time. This is first, and second, if you are opening a model with a multi-user, I think you will have to do this step every day you open the model. This is a common bug inside Tekla, and this is out of our control. So this is why we thought that it's much easier that if we created the ZSBOM in the form of an application. So if you open the ZSBOM, now you will find all the data you need to add or to show in the ZSBOM. You will find it here. To know, to check if a member containing any items or any data inside the ZSBOM tab, you simply go select this member and get the data. Press on get. Now you will find that this data containing an NBD, okay, inside the ZSBOM tab. For example, let's try this column. Say get. Now this column is empty. So if I want to add some data inside the ZSBOM tab, you can simply select multiple objects and assign some data. For example, I'm going to assign the area and sub-area and chief. Let's do it 00. For example, 0100, and you press on set. Now all the data has been set inside these items. So if I open the application again and, for example, check this column and press get, now you will find that the data is already saved inside the ZSBOM tab. So this is just a small application to solve the problem of showing the ZSBOM tab inside the more tab and to solve this bug inside Tekla. So I think we have finished all our applications, okay, and I just want to illustrate that this is the current application that we have finished till now. This is not the end, this is only the start. We will continue adding extra applications that's going to solve your problems. Your feedback is will be very appreciated, because actually your feedback is will be the fuel for our applications. So now if you have any questions for all what we have explained in the sessions for all our tools, please you can start asking your questions. So I hope that this means that our application is useful for you. Someone having a question? Okay. We are waiting for your feedback. Please, your feedback is most appreciated from us. You are welcome to provide any comment, even for the current tools that we have provided. Please give it a try. Give us all your comments, your feedback. Maybe if you want to add an option for any existing tool, we can add it for you. If you have an idea of some other applications and tools that can solve problems in future for you, please send us all your wishing lists, and we will start to do our best to provide you with all the support that we can. I think also I want to thank the ESD team. They are providing a very wonderful tools. As I already informed you before, that they have tools for creating all the call format with its connections and flange braces and NBDs, and also the SAGROT. Also, for the billing of the cold format is done automatically in their application. Also, they have an application for the creating the sheeting and the cladding, along with building its accessories, which we use to build it manually, and it take a lot of time. Now it is just it will be built just by single click. And also they are working on a new BEB framing tool, which we hope it will be released soon. So I think they are going to contact with you soon after they release the BEB framing tool, and they are going to provide you with a training session for their tools, which will be which will complete the system and will save a lot of your time. Thank you very much for your listening and for taking your time in the last week. I hope you found our application useful, and till we meet again, thank you very much.
Thank you, Sunny.
You're welcome. You're welcome.